everybody. Welcome to this month's webinar. This month we commemorate Human Rights Day, which was last Friday. So Human Rights Day is a time for us to reflect on the rights and freedoms that we enjoy as a nation. So a relevant topic that brings us into focus is that of financial inclusion, which refers to the access that people have to financial products and services, and obviously designed to meet their needs and circumstances. My name is Sean van den Berg. I'm an investment specialist at PSG Wealth. I'll be doing this presentation, and the main thing for me is to discuss the importance of financial education or financial literacy, and explore ways to make financial services more accessible to all South Africans. Okay, so this is my agenda. Oops, sorry, wrong button. This is my agenda. Where's my mouse? There we go. There's my agenda. Normal 3 points: understanding financial inclusion. What are the challenges and barriers to financial inclusion? And then obviously I spend a lot more time on the role of financial education. But just to give you some background, and to clarify for you, financial exclusion is the problem and financial inclusion is a solution, if that makes some sense. So just as I give you some background, there have been great strides made, including many previously excluded people into the financial system. That's the main, and obviously the mainstream economy, and obviously including them through greater access to bank accounts, for example. So, however, the levels of access have improved in transactional accounts. This is not really reflected in many other financial products and services, and we'll touch on that a bit later. So, the main thing here is that you know, for many people to be effectively included in the financial sector, focus is needed not only in the access to bank accounts, but also obviously access to access and sustainable use, and that's the most important thing here. Sustainable use of a diversified range of financial products and services that are appropriate to consumer needs and obviously economic circumstances. So let's then dig into it. So let's talk about understanding financial inclusion. So first of all, you know, what is financial inclusion in South Africa? And the definition is it's an individual who is financially included if he or she has an account with a financial institution or has a debit or credit card, but more broadly has an account at a financial institution, the post office, or a microfinance institution. So that's the definition of someone that's financially included. And I mentioned just now, obviously, having access to these cards, but it's also using it to meet your needs, more importantly. So to go into a bit more detail, I'll give you some background. There was call it a survey done by a company called Finscope, and they found that a notable increase in financially excluded people have decreased. From this is going back to from 2023 to 2014, there was a decrease from 51% to 12%. It's like a 39% decrease in people being included now. So that was quite interesting to read that. And then obviously there are a lot of factors contributing to that decline. And the main thing there was the rapid adoption of money, mobile money services, and we'll touch on it just now, M-Pesa, for example, etc. What's also interesting was back in 2018, 47% of women were financially excluded compared to 39% of women. So yeah, women were more excluded than men. And then since 2016, 89% of the population was financially included, which is obviously approximately 11% being excluded. Okay, so 89% included, 11% being excluded. So quite interesting numbers here. And the main thing here is obviously technology, mobile money adoption. The number of people with mobile money accounts has increased from 7% way back in 2014 to over 20% now in 2019. Again, I presume that's also increasing all the time. Okay, so how has financial inclusion changed? So obviously the main thing here is bank accounts. Way back in 2003, so more than 25 years ago, 22 years ago, sorry, bank accounts have increased from 52% to 84%. Formal credit has increased from 26% to 60%. I don't know if that's good or bad, but we'll touch on it again just now. Formal challenges for channels for money transfers has increased from 35% to 56%, and informal savings have improved from 10% to 30%. So everything's positive. But saying that, the financial products that enable goal setting, risk mitigation, and future planning are stagnating, falling, and getting worse. So you can see that only 13% of people back in 2003 borrowed money to buy food. That has increased now to over 40% in 2023. That's not good. Okay, you're borrowing money to buy food. Non-financial insurance policies have marginally decreased from 24% in 2003 to 22% in 2023. So over 20 years, decreased by 2%. Non-life insurance policies have remained around about 11%. Medical assistance have increased slightly by 5% from 17% to 12%. And retirement products has also decreased slightly by 5% from 12 to 7. So those are the worrying things. Okay, so let's talk about the positive stuff. So first of all, the whole thing about financial inclusion is a key enabler to reduce poverty and boost prosperity. And the main thing here, it supports entrepreneurship and business growth. So obviously having access to credit and capital and secure savings and an efficient payment system, this enables small businesses to expand, which it obviously creates jobs and drives economic development. But also access to insurance policies and things like that also enhances resilience for protection, obviously, against unforeseen risks and financial shocks. So this gives you, as an individual, peace of mind, number one, and as an entrepreneur, you can undertake more ventures with greater confidence. Okay, and number two is also important, again, for women. By reducing the barriers to economic participation, financial services help equip women with tools and resources to start and grow their own businesses, but also to manage household finances and invest in their futures. So this obviously strengthens their voice in decision making that affects them, but also narrows the gender gaps in financial access. And also, what the main thing here is, promotes broader social and economic equality. So some positives there. But let's look at some more negatives with some possible solutions. So the barriers to change and things like that. The main thing here, I think, is that it's you're looking at the people at the bottom of the pyramid, the people that are still grappling with financial survival and lack of literacy, access to technology and resources, and obviously meaningful. That can help them meaningfully engage with financial systems. So these are the people we're looking at. So financial inclusion is not merely just ticking boxes. It's just basically about driving real and lasting change in people's lives. So I've just done a very quick and basic table here. Look at some of the challenges. And main thing for me is all about technology. And I think there's a lot of moves been made, especially with fintech. A lot of people are moving more and more towards smartphones and digital, and as I mentioned just now, digital money. But you can see all these things. You know, in the past we had problems with people rather using cash than being banked, and the reason for those, the excuses they had was that they didn't have ID, physical documents. Now there's a move towards more digital identity verification, and things like biometric authentication. I know myself, I bank with Capitec, and I do like their systems. Yes, it's all fingerprints and it's all biometrics, but that's what makes it so much easier. And then also in the past, people used to complain about so far away from brick and mortar branches. More and more people are using mobile financial apps. So as I say, it's all about fintech, all about smartphones and technology. And the last point I want to highlight there, and I think that's the biggest barrier for financial inclusion, is low financial literacy. So there's moves, and obviously the whole thing with AI now, you can create more personalized learning, interactive tools. Again, technology plays a big part in this. Okay, so I mentioned just now M-Pesa. So I was interesting to when I was doing this research that M-Pesa it's over, I think it was 11 million users. So yeah, it's moving very fast. So let's talk about the role of financial education. This is what I find more interesting, and this is what I find that I'm more passionate about. I enjoy teaching people about financial literacy. But all it is just a financial education, just a process where the consumer of financial products or services improves their understanding of financial markets. You know, I've said this a lot of times in my past webinars. My goal is just for education and understanding. So, so yeah, it's also helping you to improve your knowledge and skills. Bottom line, to help you make more informed and sound decisions, investment decisions. So that's what it's all about. So very briefly, I've touched on it already. Personal financial management, budgeting and investing. These are what all my webinars are all about always. So if you are financially literate, it's basically the foundation for smart money, smart relationship with your money. So it's a lifelong journey, and you never stop learning. I'm learning all the time. So the earlier you start, and this is why I always emphasize, teach your children about money. The earlier you start, the better off you'll be. So yeah, that's just the key for a successful financial future. But also saying that being financially illiterate can lead to many pitfalls, and I see this all the time. Many people falling for, especially the WhatsApp scams. I'm amazed how many times we get a message that you got a message from someone being a PSG broker on WhatsApp, and you can invest 1,000 Rand with them and turn it into 6,000 Rand in one day. And it's a scam, and people give their money to these people. So yeah, those are the things I'm talking about. So, but also that, not saying that only, it's that people also become overconfident and accumulate unsustainable debt burdens based on pure spending decisions. You know, they go spend money on their credit cards. I mentioned this before. Having the lifestyle, the champagne lifestyle on the beer income. You know, buying things before you know, and obviously things come home to roost, and yeah, you lack long-term preparation. So yeah, it leads to poor credit, bankruptcy, and I've seen it a lot of people, their homes being repossessed. But also, you know, it's if you're financially educated, if you understand, a bit more financially literate, you will not be falling for those financial scams or those WhatsApp scams. You just yeah, with cybersecurity and things like that, you don't click on the wrong links, but just being aware that it's not easy to turn 1,000 Rand to 6,000 Rand in one day. That's a scam. If it's too good to be true, it's a scam. Okay, so they put it that way. So the basic benefits of financial literacy I've touched on already. The 4 points here is that it helps you prevent devastating financial mistakes. I mentioned that already in the previous point. You know, people don't understand the difference between you know, the different interest rates. And that's, I think, is one of the biggest things. You know, a floating rate alone may have different interest rates each month. That's one thing a lot of people don't understand. You know, so you got no control. And number two, also, yeah, you might have a retirement annuity. Now you got a financial squeeze. You want to have access to your money. Financial, I mean, retirement annuities, you don't have access until the age of 55. That's there to protect you. So yeah, being aware of those kind of things, and that's also part of this financial literacy, making those seemingly innocent financial decisions will have long-term implications. So this costs you money and will impact your life plans. Number two, it helps you prepare financial emergencies. Now, I've harped on this before. One of the first things you always need to have is an emergency fund. save between 3 months and 6 months of living expenses in case something happens or those uncertain times. And then thirdly, it helps you reach your goals. You know, we're touching on it in a more depth the next few slides. But the whole idea is that you create a plan with expectations and manage those expectations, and then you set a course to achieve those goals. And there's various calculators or tools to help you do that also. So you might not be able to afford your dream holiday today, but it does help you make it happen. And then last point here is financial literacy. The benefit here is it helps you with confidence, and that's, I think, is one of the biggest things. If you're confident in your financial knowledge, you can make better decisions. Okay, so yeah, I hope that all makes sense for you guys. And then there are six financial principles, I believe, that and this is what the webinars always cover. You know, the 6 things that can do about money. You can earn money, you can spend money, you can save money, you can invest money, you can borrow money, and obviously you need to protect your money. Those are the 6 principles basically you need to learn more about when it comes to financial literacy. Earning, you know, understand the income sources. You can work for someone. Obviously, that's what they call earned income, and there's tax implications there. You can create a side hustle. You can earn your money from investing, and there's various ways of doing that. But spending, obviously, these are making informed choices about spending. But just basically being aware what happens to your money. Now, as I said, I have harped on this before in previous webinars. That's what all my webinars are about. And then obviously using the various savings tools or vehicles we have, as well as also various investment vehicles that PSG offers. I'm not going to touch much about borrowing. Try not to go into debt. That's what I always say. But it's also just being responsible. Okay, and then protecting it. Also, I don't really go into this much, but this is where wealth planning comes into it, estate planning, and other protective measures like insurance, life cover, and things like that. Okay, but those are the 6 main principles that you need to cover when it comes to financial literacy. And we talk about 5 strategies that help you improve your financial literacy skills. You know, we talk about creating a budget. So teach your children about the importance of creating a budget. One of the first things I've always learned is to pay yourself first. You know, whatever's left, then you can spend that. But if you pay yourself first, then you're on the right track. Pay your bills promptly. I'm not going to go too much details of this. You guys can read it when you get the PDF, as well as the recording of this webinar. And again, the thing here about managing debt: stay on top of your debt. Develop a debt reduction plan. Before saving, I always say rather get rid of your debt. You know, pay off the debt to the highest interest first. And if you've got excessive debt, you know, rather renegotiate repayment. You can also consolidate your debt, or you can go so far as to go for debt counseling. Okay, and then we talk about investing for your future. And the first thing is, when you start working, if you're working for a company and they have a pension or provident fund, join them. And the main thing there is to try and contribute to the maximum to receive the employer's match. You know, a lot of companies will pay 8%. You match it up with another 7% to make it 15%. But also remember, you can go up to 27.5% of your salary. It can be into retirement funding to take advantage of those tax benefits. Talking about retirement annuity, you know, I call it the individual retirement annuity. Yeah, you can create a diversified investment portfolio of shares, bonds, fixed income. But then you'll see the next slide, we're going into more detail of that. But also, you know, you might feel overwhelmed. Seek financial advice from a professional financial advisor. They'll help you determine how much money you will need to retire comfortably, and obviously also help you to develop strategies to reach your goal. Also on the website, there's 3 calculators. You can use a calculator for education for your children. You can use the education for a goal. This one here, I'm just highlighting the retirement calculator. You can see there, that's where you'll find it on the website. Okay, but these are just gives you some numbers, something to work towards. Okay. Let's talk about the vehicles that we do have, and I've touched on this before. There's 3 investment or 3 savings, or call it a investment products you can look at. First of all, we've got the VIP, the voluntary investment plan. This is our basic unit trust account. So it's someone that wants to save, but what's important for you, you want to have access to access to the funds. So the worst case scenario takes you 3 days to sell and 2 days in your bank account. Okay, so someone that wants flexibility and access, then this is account to go for. This is what you'll use for emergency fund. This is what you want to use to save towards an overseas holiday, etc., etc. Okay. So other thing is, there are tax implications compared to a retirement annuity or tax-free. Just understand the differences here. Tax-free investment plan. This is a great vehicle, I always say, to complement a retirement annuity, especially if you're looking at more long-term. You've got a lifetime limit of 500,000. And at the moment, the annual rate is 36,000. So that gives you roughly about 13 years. So as I say, it's a nice way to complement retirement annuity. Before digging into your retirement annuity, you built up a nice little nest egg here. A lot of people use the tax-free to pay off the debts and things like that, and use the retirement annuity, switch it over to a living annuity, and that will give you your monthly income. So with retirement annuity, the big thing, with the tax-free, all your growth, capital growth, income and dividends, all the interest is all tax-free within that tax-free investment plan. With retirement annuity, you get a tax benefit up front. Your contributions are tax deductible at the end of the year, up to 27.5% of your taxable income. I think there is a limit of 350,000 per year. But the main thing here is that it's what I call disciplined savings. You can't touch that money until the age of 55. With tax-free, yes, you have access. You can get access to it. Take the money out, but just understand you can't put it back. So you can't increase your annual contribution limits. Okay. So those gives you ideas of 3 investment vehicles that you could use as such. Okay. So in quick summary, I've gone through this very fast. We just get some water. I think I'm not. I can't really say much about being financially excluded, but I think there's a quote here from Digaso Digshabe. He is the chairman of the FinTech Association of South Africa, and I think he said it perfectly about financial exclusion. You need to have lived in it to understand it, and obviously I can't say much about that for myself because I've never lived in it myself. So if we truly want to close the gap, we must first understand the lived experiences of those who aim to serve, and obviously design our solutions accordingly. So I know that financial inclusion is all about people, real people in the real economy. So yes, the products are slowly changing and moving towards that to include everybody. And I know that the regulators working hard to help to get the financial institutions to make it more inclusive. Okay, so a quick summary. I think these are the main points I want you to get from it. Financial exclusion is a problem. Financial inclusion is a solution. And those are the goals of financial literacy. I already mentioned just now the 6 principles, and then the 5 call it strategies. And I've spoken about this before in previous webinars. Okay, guys. So in conclusion, before we tackle any questions, these are those 3 products I mentioned just now. You can click on the links here, gives you the key information documents, so you can learn more about them and make more informed decisions. So if you understand what your need is, what your goal is, your financial objectives, your time horizon, then you can look at the products for that. But also, if you don't understand the stuff, give us a call. Myself and my colleagues there's Lebogang and there's also Sonobise. We're there to help you answer any questions. You can contact us by email, wealth@PSG, or on OneStream 0860 000 368. Okay, so let me see what questions you guys have here quickly before wrapping it up. Okay, here's a question from Timber. Whoops. Let me just get more questions here. Okay, so Timber wants to know what's the minimum investment for a share trading account? Yeah, Timber, yeah, good question. So there's no set minimum investment, but you need to consider the trading costs. So as the size of the trade increases, the brokerage rate decreases. So our minimum brokerage is 265 Rand per trade, up to 25,000 Rand. So obviously that's excluding that. So yeah, if you had invested 1,000 Rand, for example, your shares need to go up 26.5% just to break even on costs. So something to consider. So what I suggest is rather consider a unit trust account. You can go, as I say, start as low as 500 Rand. So obviously you have lower fees, number one, and number two, you also got a professional fund manager choosing the shares for you. But also, what's most important is you're managing risk. You're a diversified portfolio. You put all your eggs in one basket of one share compared to buying into a basket of shares through a unit trust. I hope that answers your question, Temba. So here's a question here from Barbara. How can I learn more about investing? That's an excellent question, Barbara. Now, for financial literacy, as I mentioned now, attend webinars like this. There's a whole archive on our YouTube channel. You can find these past webinars. But when it comes to, for example, share investing or trading, there are a lot of websites you can go to. One website I recommend is investopedia.com. But also, Google's your best friend. Go ask the questions there. Just be, how can I say, be prudent. Don't just look at one website, look at a lot when you want the same message come from different websites. Okay. But also there are many books. I read a lot. So yeah, there are a lot of books available, especially on value investing and things like that. So Barbara, I hope that also answers your question. Cool. So are there any other questions? I don't see anything else. So guys, thank you very much for being on this webinar. We ran out of time, but until next month, bye for now.